why I love this podcast is because it's one thing to experience culture, but it's another thing to archive it.
Everything is in divine order.
There's no success without an L, first and foremost.
What's up? This is Tomi Tribe tapping into creative Ambiance. You know the vibes. Let's get it.
What up, people? Welcome to Ambiance Podcast. I got Tomi Tribe sitting to the right of me. He is a Nigerian-American DJ and producer, also an entrepreneur of many sorts. Joining us on the podcast today. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. First off, though, I'm going to correct you a little bit. It's Tomi Tribe.
Tomi Tribe. Yeah. Okay, Tomi Tribe.
So, yeah, it's obviously spelled T-O-M-I. People get it mixed up. They think it's Tommy. It's Tomi, like Tomi.
Tomi. Okay, that's a correct pronunciation on it. Okay, most definitely. Yeah. So first off, I love the name. How did you come up with it? What did that, because I know Tomi is your first name, right?
Oluwatomi.
Oluwatomi.
Name, you know. And when I took DJing or music seriously, I was like, yo, I got to be as authentic as possible. I don't want to just have a DJ Shadow or DJ. Not shout out to whoever is DJ Shadow. I don't know. I'm not trying to.
There's the DJ Shadow.
But I didn't want to be DJ something. I was like, I'm more than just a DJ. So
right.
It definitely has to represent me. And low key, you know, I was just like, man, that nigga Drake uses his name, so I'm gonna use my name.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what goes with, you know, T or Tomi or, you know, the ambiance and what I'm trying to do. I was like, tribe, you know, I'm really trying to build a tribe out here when it comes to Afro-Caribbean music. So Tomi Tribe, it flowed, it fit, and I just never looked back.
I think that says a lot about how you see yourself too. You know what I mean? That kind of shows me that you have bigger picture thinking about yourself. You know what I mean? Sure. Not trying to put yourself in a box of just a DJ, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, DJing is dope, music is dope, but there's more to life than DJing and music. You know?
Yeah.
There's fashion, there's art, there's philanthropy, there's culture, there's food. You know, all of these things I love and I enjoy, and I want to make sure, you know, I leave my mark in all those territories as well.
Yeah, and you're not just saying that too, but you're actually living it because you're expressing yourself through so many different mediums, right? You got the musical career as a DJ and a producer. Yeah. You have your clothing brands, so you're representing that fashion aspect. You got the entrepreneur spirit going on, and you know we're gonna get into all of that as well. But you know, you spoke about tribe aspect, right? You're trying to build a tribe out here, and you have such a large influence on the Afrobeats movement that's in Los Angeles. And I want to get into that too, but first I wanted to touch on your upbringing, right? In California. So you are a first generation Nigerian-American, correct?
First generation. My dad came out here on a soccer scholarship, went to med school, met my mom. She was out here as well from Nigeria, going to school in Riverside, Cal Baptist. And they linked up, you know what I mean? They had my brother, sister, and me. I'm the last born out here, and we were all born here in the States. So we were able to, of course, get the citizenship. You know, and eventually they were able to get citizenship as well because they had 3 children out here. Right. And, you know, fast forward, here I am.
How was growing up in Riverside back then?
Dope. A very suburban lifestyle.
It was much different back then because as I told you earlier, I'm from West Covina, very familiar with Riverside. It's a lot different now. Completely. I feel like, so many people are migrating there and there's a much more, how I would say, like, substantial living. Like there's a lot more people that are moving to the IE, right?
There's a lot more to do. So what I believe started happening about 10, 15 years ago is a lot of people from LA County or Orange County started saying, hey, the IE is cheaper. Let's move to the IE. What I'm paying, even like what I'm paying out here in downtown LA, if I was in the IE, I can have a 2-story house.
100%.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like eventually if you had a family and kids, it made more sense to move out there. So with that brought a lot of culture from LA or from Orange County or from wherever they migrated from. So now you have Riverside with a lot of cool nightlife. You have Riverside with a lot of cool, you know, entertainment or culture that we didn't have 15 years ago because there wasn't as many people out there who were into those kind of things or even knew about those things. So I think it's cool. Like the IE is definitely progressing, you know, it's growing. When we were younger, we just had to drive to LA every time. Like that was just what
That's true.
You know, every Friday, get out of school, I'm driving to LA, I'm there for the weekend type thing. You know, but nowadays you don't really have to do it. Plus you have the internet and all that kind of stuff that's rampant. When we were younger, like we had the internet, but it's not like the way it is now.
100%.
Social media is, you know, we could see everything real time, what's going on. I don't need to be in LA to know what's going on in LA. I don't need to be in Dubai to know what's going on in Dubai. So, you know, it's cool. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's booming right now. Riverside is booming, IE is booming too. So, I mean, growing up in that area, right? Because we mentioned it was a lot different back then. You mentioned that your parents migrated from Nigeria, met, and basically started your home base in Riverside. So how is the duality of having immigrant parents? Because I know that they are very big on safety, right? Like they want security net for you. Yeah. Like they didn't go through all that struggle to have you not have security out here, right?
I always tell people like, man, I can create the craziest movie or television series about growing up first generation Nigerian in America, because when you're in the house, you're in Nigeria. The moment you walk out of the house, you're in America.
I didn't think about it that way.
You know, from the food we ate to even the language. My parents will speak to me in Yoruba 100% of the time.
Whenever you're in the household?
Yeah, when I'm in the house. That's why I understand Yoruba fluently, but I don't speak it fluently, because they will make us respond in English because we need to know English for school and, you know, church and all those kind of things. But in the household, oh no, you're in Nigeria.
Wow.
From the food we eat 5, 6, 7 nights a week, from the way you're talking to the everything, the culture is everything is, you know, Nigeria, which is cool because it preserved those, you know, that heritage, it preserved that culture to where I understand the culture, even though I wasn't living in Nigeria.
Right.
You know, so, but again, like I said, then you walk out, you're in the US, and now you're with everybody else doing everything else, you know, and trying to navigate through that and understand that. And for me, like, I had no problem with that, you know, even down to like, back then Africa wasn't cool. So people would say, African booty scratcher, this and that.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, all the time.
Why do you think like quote unquote Africa wasn't cool?
Well, because they didn't know. Their reference of what they saw of Africa was, you know,
from the media.
Exactly, poverty or this or that, or Michael Blackson being on Friday talking the way he talked. You know that famous skit he had on Friday.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can't get jiggy with this shit. Like, you know, shit like that is what they saw. So that's all they knew of Africa. So when they'll see me or they'll see other Africans, which, you know, the school I went to, I was probably 1 or 2 Africans in that whole school. So they would just, you know, automatically try to crack jokes, or they'll see my name, full name, Oluwatomi Adetokunbo Atolagbe. So they'll see that long name on the, you know, the roll call or whatever, and they'll try to make fun. But me, like, you can't make fun of me. It's not possible.
For real?
That what? I'll always hit them back. And not saying it was right, but back then I'll hit them back with like, well, at least, you know, my family wasn't a slave. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'll be talking to like my, you know, so-called African-American friends. Like, again, not saying that that's right, but that would be my response. Like, and that would shut them up. Like, oh, damn, he's right. Like,
yeah, back then times were different. People were savage with jokes.
You know, back then they were like, damn, like he's actually right. Like my grandparents or my blah, blah, blah were slaves when his weren't, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or, you know, even other races, I'll shut them up with different things just because to me, it's like, you're not going to clown me and I'm not going to say nothing.
100%.
I'm not going to try to fight you or anything physically, but you talk your shit, I'm going to talk my shit.
Yeah. You know hey, so you really been embracing your culture and your ethnicity since the jump, right?
To be honest, I've always knew it was an advantage because, again, not saying it was right or wrong, but growing up, looking at around the other people who looked like me as far as black people who were, you know, so-called African Americans, they weren't balling, or they weren't, you know, except the entertainers or the athletes, they were balling. But outside of that, the day-to-day people I was looking at, they weren't doing it big. But when I looked at my dad or my uncles who were doctors and lawyers and dentists, like, they were doing it big.
100%.
So for me, I was just like, oh, for sure. Like, us Africans, we got it. Like, we got the sauce. Like, we got the Benzes, the houses, the this and that. And, you know, of course, like I said, being young, you don't realize that that's, you know, designed that way in societies, designed that way from different, you know, systematic racial situations and systems. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of, your dad don't drive a Benz, my dad's. So therefore, if you're clowning on me, you're retarded because I'm way fresher than you. Like, you feel me? That's just the way I looked at it. So I never really cared or, you know, looked at it like, you know, I was, you know, behind or I wasn't as good as them. Like, nah, I always felt I was better.
Yeah. Do you think that's why representation matters so much? You know what I mean? Because for you specifically, like, you were blessed enough to grow up in a situation where you saw firsthand that your parents were successful and you had a case study for yourself of what you could be, right?
Exactly.
But there's so many other stories of, you know, minorities or people of color that live in the hood or live in like really like segregated areas that don't have the opposite of that, right? And they don't see somebody like them that is doing something that is of a higher status. So do you think that plays a role into
that played a huge role? You know, again, just being around my parents, being around uncles and aunts and other people who, you know, on the weekends you'll go to like Nigerian weddings or birthdays or, you know, whatever it is, graduation, then seeing my culture dress up nicely, lavishly, seeing the nice cars, seeing the jewelry, you know, not saying that we praise these things, but seeing that their hard work, you know, being a lawyer, a doctor, a dentist, whatever they were, paid off to this kind of thing. They were able to raise their family. They were able to provide a home. They were able to, you know, go to private school. I went to private school majority of my life.
Oh,
like,
really?
Things like this I saw as, okay, my parents are able to afford this because they worked hard and they were, you know, they kept that African mindset compared to those, you know, I was looking at when I was in the streets, you know, not saying like the streets, but when I was outside of the house, you'll see my other friends, whether African-American or not, they may not be doing as well because maybe they didn't have the opportunities, but also the culture is different. The African culture, the Nigerian culture is you got to work hard. You better come home with good grades. You better go the hardest you can. You better be the top of your class. You know, so it was always that mentality of you got to go hard in whatever you're doing.
Your expectations are higher than other people who were born here, right?
Like you better, you feel me? Like you have the opportunity to be here in the States and go to school. Your cousins back home don't even have the opportunity to get a visa or anything to come here. So you're squandering it, you know, doing what? Nah, you better be doing something.
You better be going hard. Yeah. And I could relate to that because as like a Mexican and Latinx American, like there's so many stereotypes of my own that, you know, every culture has the stereotypes put on them. Oh, like you just mow my lawn, do this, do that. You know what I mean? And then you're put in a bubble that you don't understand. You're put in unless you are seeing somebody do it like big time. That's in your culture.
You definitely, and I going back into, like I say, African American or blacks who are in this country. It really stems from them not seeing that these things are possible. Now we see the representation now with like podcasts like Earn Your Leisure and all these things. We could see these things now, but 10, 15, 20 years ago, you couldn't see these things. It was impossible to see unless it was, you know, Diddy on TV or Jay-Z, like I said, entertainers and sports players. But come on, that's 1 in a million who were making it there. So your local day-to-day people that you're seeing may not have showcase that. So as a person or a minority of color, you're just looking like, oh damn, that's not for me. Not realizing that, around the world, there's a lot of people who look just like you who are doing it and they're not in sports or entertainment.
Yeah, and one of people talk about the like downsides of social media and the upsides of it, but one of the upsides is that, right? Like it's put a satellite and a light on people doing things around the world, and you see people that look like you doing these type of things. Shout out to Earn Your Leisure, man.
Earn Your Leisure.
I'm a very frequent Market Mondays listener. I picked up so much game from them, you know?
Yeah, I've been telling cats nowadays, like, there's no excuse to not make it in life. Because you literally have the blueprint to anything and everything you want.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Whether it's Earn Your Leisure or other podcasts, like they're giving you the blueprint. All you have to do is obviously put in the time, work, and dedication. But as far as like the know-how, it's there. Like it's not rocket science.
It's there. It's just on you to actually put in the effort, right?
That comes down to people. You really want it or do you not? You feel me? Like, it really just comes down to that. You know.
100%. So going back to your upbringing in Riverside. You mentioned, you know, your parents were doctor. Your dad was a doctor, and you saw that growing up. Did they want that for you growing up? Did they want you to go that route of security?
Not necessarily doctor, but they wanted, you know, some kind of professional field. You know, my first year of college, I was going to be an accountant. You know, my dad was like, okay, I'm a doctor. Your brother's a doctor. You know, be an accountant so you can help us with the clinic and, you know, the numbers.
Family business.
Exactly. Yeah, we had medical clinics. So it was a situation where it was like that's what he was pushing. One, I didn't like numbers. Two, I didn't even like school. So it was like, nah, that didn't work out. Then he was thinking maybe I should be a lawyer, but that didn't really work out either. So, you know, I was just kind of like, you know, floating around, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay, word. So what at what point was it that you decided that you wanted to pursue a musical career?
To be honest, I never decided that I wanted to pursue a musical career.
Really?
Or anything. Like, I've always just been doing music since a kid.
Really?
I was in band, I was in choir. I didn't make, so 7th grade, I remember, I tried out for basketball, and I was thinking I was Allen Iverson, so I was just going and doing crazy stuff. And realistically, I was good because, you know, I've been playing ball my whole life, you know, in church, in my backyard, this and that. But as far as like team goes, I hadn't really been on a team, but I was good enough. But I feel like low key, looking back at it, I feel like the coach or, whoever was doing it that day was racist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he didn't pick me. You know what I mean? Like, out of all the new 7th graders, like, I was the rawest. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, you talking about private school, so I'm really the rawest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so he didn't pick me for whatever reason. And after that, I was just like, oh, man, forget sports. And I signed up for band. I was in band, choir throughout the rest of my life. Never played sports after that.
It's crazy how one person can detour somebody's life, right? Because if he had put you on the team, who knows what would happen?
Maybe I would have been on, basketball hard. But to me, I really didn't care.
Everything happens for a reason.
You feel me? Like, I enjoyed band. Back then I was playing the trumpet. I enjoyed it, then I got into choir for school and I enjoyed that. We were able to travel. We traveled to London, to Hawaii, to Florida just to sing. So like, that was cool, being in high school and being able to do that. Like, that really got me into music, really understanding even how to read music, read notes and things like that.
Like, built the foundation.
Yeah, built the foundation. But then also I started throwing parties and started, DJing a little bit.
Was that in high school?
High school, yeah. So our parents would go out of town, like on a doctor's conference or this or that. I'll throw parties in the garage.
Okay.
In fact, one year I threw one of the biggest Halloween parties. So big that all the public schools around were at my party as well too. Like,
wow,
crazy to the point where that following week at school, some of the kids got in trouble because they were, obviously underage drinking. That's not, don't do drugs, kids, don't drink.
Don't do that.
But they did that and they came home hungover. So, of course, a lot of them started snitching, like, oh, we were at Tomi's house for a party, So come Monday, some of the students' parents reported me to the school. School now tries to bring me and my parents into it, like, oh, your kid's throwing parties, this and that. Of course, me, I denied everything, you know what I'm saying? I was like, you have no proof. Back then, there wasn't those, like, oh, you taking camera to prove it. Like, nah, like, we barely had cell phones, but they weren't like what we have now. You're talking about sidekicks and, all that kind of stuff.
You couldn't do that in
Back
these days.
then, nowadays, everyone would show a picture of exactly what you were doing.
Literally.
But that's kind of how I got into music since that time, and it just never left me. Like, I've always just loved music.
What were some of your influences back then in terms of culture? Like, what were you listening to? What were you inspired by? Like, what made a big impact on you?
Back then, the biggest impact of music was like Pharrell.
Okay.
N.E.R.D., Pharrell, that whole stage. Neptunes, all that. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy back then. Kanye was heavy influence. Dipset, Cameron Purple Haze album was a huge influence on just music and what I love in life. Swagger, girls, all that. 50 Cent, huge influence as well too. But like literally everything, even like Wiz Khalifa, the whole Taylor Gang movement.
That's true. Mixtape era.
Yeah, the mixtape era. That was a big, Cushion Orange Juice, that whole, like all that combined was a huge influence. Yes, we were still listening, at least me in the States. Yes, I was still listening to African music and things like that, but it wasn't rampant. I'll only really hear it when I'm at like weddings, birthdays, or when I go back to, Nigeria.
Yeah.
But the day-to-day listen, that's not what I was listening to, until much later on when like Davido and a couple other guys, Wiz, then dropped some early stuff. Then we started hearing it even more and like, okay, people started coming back with CDs, from Nigeria, and then we were able to listen to it more.
When did Afrobeats start really picking up steam? Like, when did it
in America or
in
America?
America?
Okay, in America.
Well, how about both? I'm interested in both.
I mean, in Nigeria, it's always been there. Like from your Fela Kuti days, Lagbaja, and then it just migrates into a new sound from then on. From 80s, 90s, 2000s. Like there's always been a sound of Africa. There's always been artists pushing. You know what I mean? There's never not been artists pushing. But as far as the States, I'll say, man, really going big. It's been here since the 90s and early 2000s. But again, unless you had like a copy of a CD or a tape from somebody, like there was no place to just go and listen.
You didn't have access to it, right?
Exactly. So somebody had to come back from there and give you. And even when they give it to you, if you lose it or it gets scratched up, then that's the end until you go back again. So, but I'll say like 2015.
Okay.
Around there, 2015, 2014, maybe even 13, around that's when it really started penetrating, America. Now, when I say penetrating, I'm not saying it was everywhere. I'm just saying it was accessible.
Yeah.
You can hear it. There were some maybe African lounges that you can go to in Houston or Atlanta that you'll hear these.
Some like niche spots.
Exactly. It was nothing like today, but I'm just saying it was, it's possible to find it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's always, from what it sounds like, it's always been a thing, obviously, in Africa, but it has turned into what it is today just through the natural progression of the sound.
Yeah, the natural progression of the sound, and then now having, like we said, the internet.
Yeah,
social media. So now you have a chance to where Wizkid could drop something and everyone's going to know about it in the world, not just Africa. You know, Burna Boy could drop something and everyone is going to know from it, not just Africa. So because we have there's literally no blockage to anything you want to see or hear in the world right now. I can listen to music from, Spain if I want to today. I can go and listen to all Kurdish music if I want to today. Like whatever it is I want to listen to, I have it on my phone. We have Spotify, Apple Music. So I think that then, broke all the barriers, because at that point, like, what's stopping you from listening to Afrobeats?
Yeah, and my question to you is what do you think caused you to have like a sort of a calling to really, bring it to Los Angeles and champion it?
Well, I won't even say I brought it to Los Angeles, because I'll be a lie if I say that. Like,
right, but contribute to the movement of it in Los Angeles.
It was maybe about 6-7 years ago now. I had been going to like some parties in Inglewood, Savoy. It was one of the original Afrobeat nights out here in LA.
Okay.
It's in Inglewood. Shout out Jonathan. I've been going there and I was just like, yo, this is cool. It's vibes. Like, we're having a good time, this and that. Then I went to a Mr. Easy concert that the other homies that put on, Amplify Africa. Shout out to Timmy and Dammy as well. And I was like, this is cool. This is dope.
What year was this?
This was 2023. It's like 2017, 2016.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
something like that. 2016, 2000. But I went to them and I was like, these are cool, but naturally me, the way I am, it's like if I see something, I'm just like, yo, I could do it better.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, this is cool, but it's not like we can turn this up a little bit more.
In terms of the event aspect.
In terms of really the event was packed out, that Mr. Easy concert I was talking about, but the music was not dope. Until I think the last DJ, I want to say maybe it was Major League, the last DJ, I don't know, but majority of the music that night just was not hitting. And I was just like, bruh, I mean, at that time I was DJing, but I wasn't DJing full on Afro. I only DJ Afro for like maybe weddings or like, like family things.
Yeah.
But I was DJing, at that time I was, doing Big Sean, Rick Ross, like
Top 40
booking,
shit.
Not only DJing that, but I was booking them for events, clubs and stuff like that. For Los Globos, I brought Big Sean and Made in Tokyo there.
Were you a booking agent or manager for Los Globos?
I would just put up my own bread, throw a party.
Oh, so you were throwing the events for it.
Throw a party, try to make some money. Like that's literally what I was doing.
Hustling.
Rest in peace Nipsey Hussle. I even did the same thing for him in Riverside.
Oh wow.
I brought Nipsey out to Riverside, brought him to a barbershop, did a show, meet and greet, this kind of stuff.
What a time.
Yeah, exactly. What a time. One of the first shows he did in Miami, because after I did that in Riverside, my homegirl was in Miami. He's like, yo, can you bring him out here? I set that deal up, so we went out there as well, and we did something, with Nipsey Hussle out there. He hosted an event for her. She had like a fashion show and stuff like that. So, that was the lane that I was in as far as musically. And I was DJing, but I wasn't going hard in DJing. I was only DJing enough because they were my parties. So it's like I may hire like a headlining DJ, but I'll DJ the first hour or two just to get the vibes going, save some money, that kind of thing.
What caused you, or like, how did you learn to do this? Did you just start doing it and throw yourself?
I mean, to me, everything was just common sense. It was kind of like, okay, I want to make money. If I book this artist for $3,000, this place holds 500 people. I charge the people X amount of dollars. I can make this much money. I'll make this much in profit. I can pay everybody else this. Like, to me, it was just trying to make money.
Simple math,
just common sense. But I also I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed getting fresh. I enjoyed being around artists, and it was just my lifestyle. So it was like, why not make money off of it? It wasn't any special decision. Like, yo, I'm trying to be top promoter. Like, I still don't even call myself a promoter. And people were like, oh, you promote party? I'm like, no, I don't. I'm just Tomi. I just do what I do. You feel what I'm saying? Like, some days I'm DJing, some days I'm doing fashion. Some days I'm smoking weed, just chilling with some chicks. Some days whatever. Like, it's just living life. Like, you know what I mean?
That's a blessing to have that type of life. I feel like that's a certain level of freedom that people can't attain, right?
But the thing about it is, it took time and dedication, consistency to get there. You know what I mean? Like, there was a time in my life after my first year of college, like I tell people all the time, like my dad was like, it's a Nigerian dad, he should. He said, you got to get a job or you got to be in school.
Right.
And I was just like, nah, right now I just kind of want to do my thing, figure it out. Right then and there, that was a Sunday. I packed my bags. I left the house. My mom wasn't even home yet. I left the house, told the home.
You didn't say shit to nobody?
I told my dad I'm leaving because he was he gave me that ultimatum. He was like, go or stay. But if you're staying, you have to get a job or be in school. I just came back my first year of college. I didn't like school. So I was like, I'm not going back to school. And plus it was in Huntsville, Alabama. I was like, I'm not going back to Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, bro. So I left literally right then and there. My mom had to even call me that evening, like, you left, you was crying. She was like, you didn't even tell me this and that. I mean, I was like, nah, I just turned 19. So, you know, I'm not a baby, but it's like, for a mother, yeah, that's your baby.
You always her baby. You're the youngest, right?
Yeah, and I'm the youngest. So, you know, she was crying. I was like, I just got to do what I got to do. And for the next year or so, I was on people's couches. Oh, wow. I was hustling in the streets. I was like, you know, mind you, I had a nice crib at the house with a car, talking about basketball court, swimming pool, like nice, but I'm living on the street because I chose to not go to school or go get a job.
During that time, were you kind of thinking a little bit like, damn, were you kind of second guessing yourself and thinking whether or not you made the right move?
Never.
Never?
Never. And I don't say that to be cocky. I just say that because I was enjoying my life so much that I couldn't even think that way.
Oh.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, to me, I didn't mind sleeping on the slum. And like, I actually wanted to be in the streets because my whole life I had been in this sheltered, like private situation, you know, going off to college in a private school, coming back, this and that. Like, I was like, nah, man, I want to be in the streets. I want to see. At that time, Rick Ross just came out with Every Day I'm Hustling. You know, Jeezy was out slanging this and that. I was like, yeah, I'm Trap 101, Trap or Die. Like, I'm in the streets, was popping. That was my mentality. And it was cool because I got to learn a lot. I learned about hustling. I learned about, you know, all these various street activities, you know, but at the same time, I was smart enough to know don't go that deep into it.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? It was one of those things where it's like, all right, let me put one foot in, let me understand it, let me make a little bit of money. But when they're talking about doing some wild, extravagant shit, I'm just like, I'm gonna back up. And, you know, God saved me because there's been a few times where, you know, the people I was hanging with went off to do some wild things that I stayed behind, and some of them got arrested a couple times. In fact,
could have easily been you.
One of them just got out of jail maybe about 3-4 years ago.
Oh, shit.
For some stuff.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, I was always one of those guys who was like, I'll put myself in positions to see what's going on, but I'm not going to be that guy who's just going to jump. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't, like, by no way was I trying to be a gangster. Was I trying to be a tough guy? Nah, it was just like, yo, I'm a fresh guy. I'm a hustler. We're going to make a little bit of bread, but all that other stuff, you can miss me with it. I'm not with that.
Most definitely. So everything you kind of learned in regards to like throwing events and all that, it was self-taught and through experience,
self-taught.
right?
But also self-taught, but also, like I said, my dad owned medical clinics. So growing up, I saw my dad run a business.
The business side of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like, you know, on the summers, I'll go work in the clinics, or, you know, I'll be around the clinics, things like that. So like, I understood the mindset of you buy something or you create something and you have to sell it, create a profit, you have staff, you have this, you have, you know, I understood what it took to actually, you know, go out there and do something. So that to me was just, I've literally only had a couple of jobs, you know, besides working for my parents. I've actually had 2, maybe 3, okay, Chuck E. Cheese. I worked there for
Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, for like 2 days.
Damn,
2 days.
that's vintage.
I worked at Hollister for like
I worked at Hollister too.
a couple weeks, holiday season, couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then UPS Freight or FedEx Freight, one of the two, they had like a freight. But again, that was like 2 days. And afterwards, they were like, perhaps you need to leave, that kind of thing. Like all my jobs, I got fired because I'll come in when I want. I'll be lazy. Like I was just unmotivated to do somebody else's job because I always looked at it as like, why am I making this guy rich?
Yeah.
You feel me? Why am I making this person, you know, I'm paying this guy's bills while I'm getting chump change. Like, nah, I got to figure out something else, you know? So that's what, after that really got me into like, you got to be promoting, you got to, you know, there was a time where I was doing like college parties and, you know, we'll just be promoting college parties every week, just going hard, like, you know, and that led into one thing to another. Then, you know, the college will say, oh, I saw you did this thing for Big Sean or Rick Ross. Do you think you can hook them up with our, you know, whatever staff, I'm not, whatever, what do you call it? Student Union
like,
Association.
They always have that party.
Yeah, so they always hit me up. I'm like, you think you hook me up with this? So for a time, we had brought Dom Kennedy. That was another artist, LA artist.
Was that for Cal Poly Pomona?
That was for UCR.
UCR
and RCC. Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny about it. I never went to UCR, but people thought I went to UCR because I was always on campus. I was that dude. Like, what is this guy doing? But everyone knew me, and I was always on campus partying with them, throwing parties, linking them with artists, whatever it was. That was just my job. I was technically enrolled in RCC, but I wasn't even going to class at that time either. So it was just like I was just there, just chilling. Like,
that's crazy. So you always known that you never wanted to go that corporate life.
Oh, for
get
sure.
A job.
For sure. for sure. Like there's even in high school, I used to burn CDs. Any CD that comes out, I'll go to Best Buy, purchase it, go burn it, sell them for $5 a piece. So maybe I'll buy a CD for like $20, $22. By the time the week is done and I've sold CDs, I've probably made $300-400 off that CD.
So you just learned how to hustle.
I mean, it was common sense. Yeah. You feel me? Like you want the new Eminem Marshall. Yeah, you want the new CD? Great, I'll get it for you. Don't worry. And you're not gonna have to pay $22 for it. You're gonna pay $5. You feel me? Like.
Yeah,
you know,
and to think about it, what you're doing now is just like a different version of that, right?
Exactly,
like whether it's with your fashion line, whether it's with your
you just have to adapt to the times. That's it, adapt to the times. You know, I always tell cats, like, if I was in high school right now, and the technology that they have, what?
Yeah, you have so many side hustles.
I'll be making more money than my teachers.
Wow,
I'm telling you that.
Period. Man, so getting back to the storyline, you were throwing these events, you know, booking Big Sean, artists like Rick Ross and whatnot. So what caused you to start Tribe Vibes, and at what point did you kind of like concept that?
That was, like I said, that was about 6-7 years ago or so now, about 6 years ago. After that concert, I went to that Mr. Easy one. I was thinking, I could
do this better. Yeah.
So I literally hit them up, the guys who threw that party. I was just like, yo, your next party, I'm gonna come DJ for free. So for about 3 parties of theirs, I DJ for free. I was the opening DJ, but I was just DJing for free.
And what was the purpose behind you doing that?
One, getting better in this thing called Afrobeats, you know what I mean? Because, like, again, I was playing the music, we were listening to the music, but I wasn't playing it frequently enough.
Because you didn't have the crowd for it.
Exactly. Right? There was no crowd for it. Like, the most I would play it was when I go to a wedding, or I go to, like, you're hanging around cousins or so that come out of town that we're messing around. But as far as, like, playing it all night, there wasn't even those kind of parties to do so. The only parties that were going on was, like I said, Savoy, and then Amplify Africa. They'll throw parties here and there. But there wasn't enough parties to be able to say, hey, every weekend I'm going out spinning Afrobeats. So eventually, I'll DJ for them for free a couple times. Somebody hit me up. It was a Caribbean party, actually, called Bless Up. Shout out to Kashif and then CeeLo. They hit me up, was like, yo, we're going to pay you $150 to come DJ. I was like, okay, cool. So now somebody's paying me to DJ. And they wanted Afrobeats because, like I said, at that time, Afrobeats just kind of broke. They were used to doing, Caribbean dance hall parties. But they knew that we need to start including Afrobeats in it because Afrobeats was getting popular. Drake had dropped that thing with Wiz. And, there were a couple of things going on that was bubbling. So they had booked me, and they kept booking me. The price kept going up. And before you know it, like, I linked up with the other 2 homies out here, Major League and Black Pages. Okay. And they were already doing, stuff out here. They were already DJing and things like that. And I just kind of linked up with them. I was just like, bro, like, we need to throw our own parties. Like, we're waiting for these promoters to throw parties. Let's throw our own parties. Like, let's get our own bread. I've already been throwing parties in the hip-hop space, so I kind of knew how to get a venue. Maybe if we need to get a bar, whatever it is we need to do, I could set it up. We set it up. Wahala Boys. We started. We kept doing it. We were, I guess, like we could say, we were the first DJs in the Afrobeat space to throw our own parties out here. Before that, there was events and venues like Savoy. I believe Lentini was at Savoy, and he was working with them at Savoy, but that wasn't outside of Savoy. That wasn't outside of them just throwing their own parties. We were the first ones to do that. Shout out to Lentini as well.
And what year was this where you decided?
This is, I guess, I want to say around 2017, 18.
Okay.
It's all within that time frame of, just jumping in, that kind of thing. And then we were just throwing parties. And then, fast forward, we're still in the city throwing parties. I'm still throwing my parties. Paige is still throwing his parties. Major's still doing this.
Crazy. And now a lot of people are starting their own parties. Oh, there's so many parties out there.
Now it's a regular thing. Yeah. Now it's just, but back then it wasn't. Like, you couldn't, like, for instance, this weekend I can go out and go to about 5 different Afro-Caribbean parties.
Yup, you can.
Back then it was like, you're lucky if you had one. You know what I mean?
And do you love to see stuff like that now, right?
Now, because now the money's even better. You feel me? Now people are more receptive to it. Now there's more options, so it's like, cool. Like, we doing Afrobeat Hollywood every Saturday night. We call it Sold Out Saturdays because we selling out every Saturday.
I love that.
All the tables are sold. We hit about capacity most nights, so it's like, regardless, it's a good thing.
What has that done for your confidence as both like somebody who throws events and as like a DJ and a producer? You know what I mean? To see something that you like envisioned in your head and to see it grow to what it is today, does that give you a certain level of belief in yourself that you can grow something to like that measure?
Yeah, I imagine it does, but at the same time, like, my confidence has already been on 110. So it really doesn't. You feel me?
You already knew you were that guy.
Yeah, and not to say that in a cocky way, but just like, yo, I'm a sure guy. Like, there's nothing about it. Like, I know what I'm going to do is popping. I know my taste level is good. I know whatever I deliver to people is going to be of quality. And that's not even just for myself. That's for themselves. Like, I want to do quality things for people because I want them to enjoy that. You know, I don't want people to say, oh, I'm going to, you know, this Afrobeat party that's just all right, or just like, you know, it's just there. No, I'm going to this dope ass party because the vibe is gonna be right, the music is gonna be right, the drinks are gonna be right, the girls are gonna be right, the fella, you know, like it has to be of quality. I'm not just trying to do anything. My flyers, quality. The video recaps, quality. The names, the vibes, the artists, the DJs we book, everything has to be of quality, because if Poppy or Highlight Room or, you know, all these other companies in Hollywood and LA can give you that quality,
why can't you?
You feel me? Like,
yeah.
There's no difference between Afrobeats. In fact, at this moment, Afrobeats is better and more popping than hip hop, and I could say
really
that.
is.
You can quote me on that one for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like,
and what do you think is the difference, just speaking on the confidence piece, between confidence and cockiness, and also belief, self-belief?
So cocky is when you're just trying to pop your shit because you want to pop your shit and show, oh, I got this, I got that. And, you know, you're just trying to pop your shit because you want to tell people you got it, or you're a big man, or you're a big girl. That's cocky. Confidence is knowing that what I'm doing is actually good, but not only is it good, it's helping out. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm confident that if you come to my store and get some gear, you are going to look good when you wear that gear. People are going to ask, where'd you get that jacket from? Where'd you get that hat from? I'm confident that the shit that I'm making is solid. It's proper. I'm not giving you no bullshit. You feel me? So I'm confident with that. That's, you know, when you're just cocky and just, you know, it's just kind of like, all right, bro, I've seen it. Like, I've seen the stack of money. I've seen the jewels. I've seen all that. That's cool. But how does that help the next man or the next woman? Does that even give them a better experience when they come to your party? No. Like, you know, like when I at my parties, for instance, I'll pop bottles for myself. I'll pop bottles for my guests. We'll do the whole, you know, the whole thing. But at the same time, if I see some people standing around just looking at the bottle like, oh, they can't attain to it, I'll be like, yo, bro, here's some champagne.
Oh, so you share the experience.
Here, bro. Because, like, I know maybe not everybody can get that experience, and I don't want people to feel like they're left out. Like, I'm a big believer in that. I don't want people to feel like they're left out. Like, yo, you can't afford a drink? All right, come on, baby, here. You feel me? Like, it's not going to kill me. They're going to enjoy it. They may even go home like, man, I've never experienced something like that. Yeah, that's what I want. You know what I mean? I'm confident that you come to my club, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, no, I take two things from what you said right now. Like, cockiness to me in your definition kind of sounds like it's talk without backing it up, right? Like, you're making noise, but you really don't like believe what you're saying. And confidence, in the way that you kind of described it too, kind of sounds to me like it comes from within, because you're not depending on somebody else's opinion of what you're doing to get that confidence. It comes from you, and you can control your own narrative with that, right?
Like, yo, I don't care what it is that I'm doing, how I'm moving, I'm going to be one of the dopest in doing it. And if I'm running a race and I'm not first place, I guarantee I'm going to look fly doing it. Whatever place I get, I'm going to look fly, and we're still going to celebrate and have a good time regardless. And that's the confidence you have to have. It can't be just based around, okay, well, if I don't have the jewels, then I'm not dope anymore. No, jewels or no jewels, I'm dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever the situation is, I'm dope.
Because nobody could take that from you. You know what I mean? Somebody could take, if you're getting your confidence from like an exterior factor, once that exterior factor is gone, your confidence is gone. But if it comes within you, you could have nothing.
You feel me? You know? Yeah. Especially, like, I see it all the time, like cats that may come in the club, they pop big bottles, this and that, going crazy, and they're just sitting there looking miserable. But then as soon as some girls come to their table, then they're like, oh, yeah, for sure. So it just lets me know, like, okay, the women and the girls is what's making you feel this way, like you're a big man. But take the girls away, you're not a big man. Take the bottles away, you're not a big man. It shouldn't be like that. You need to have that vibe and that energy, like, yeah, I'm good and what I'm secure in who I am, without the bottles, without the girls. You get what I'm saying? And again, not knocking anybody who does all that, for sure. Come keep popping bottles, enjoy yourself, but you know, do understand that bottles or not, you still You feel me? You're still a somebody.
You're still him.
You feel
Yeah.
me? And if you come to the club and you can't pop bottles, that's fine, because you're still a somebody. Like, we're all people. We're all just working off of the level of understanding that we have. We're working off the level of finances that we have. We're working off the level of responsibilities that we have. Like, so just do that for your own level. Don't worry about anybody else.
Man, these are gems being dropped, man. I appreciate you sharing the codes on there. Cheers, brother. Cheers. Appreciate you coming through once again.
Oh, of course, man.
So going back to the Tribe Vibes, love the name too, by the way. What is one of your favorite aspects of throwing these events?
Again, it's just seeing people enjoy themselves. There's been a few times in the past few years where people will hit me up and be like, yo, man, I don't think you understand. Like, we appreciate you throwing these things. Like, we work hard 9 to 5 all week, and we just want a place to be able to come and hear our music or eat our food or, vibe with our culture. And bringing that to the city, like, to me, that is just like, yo, you can't beat that. Like, being able to say now you're adding to the culture.
Yeah.
Like, not even on a financial standpoint, but just adding to the culture of their enjoyment. Like, that's unbeatable.
It's a special feeling too. Like, you can't really put a price on that. I feel like, because I feel something similar with this podcast. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm contributing to culture. Like, I'm sharing the stories of people, even though that's the thing too. Like, everybody has a role, right? You don't necessarily, you could be a fan of something and not try to be that.
Exactly.
You could find your way to fit in and still contribute towards that.
Exactly.
So I feel something really similar in that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. If you always come and operate from the space of you're giving back, not necessarily saying giving back to charity, but giving back to that culture, giving back to that environment, giving back to that society, I think you'll always win.
Yeah.
Like, because there's no way you're not going to feel good about it. Like,
that shit feels good.
At the end of the night, when the drunk homies come up to you like, oh man, great party, and they're hugging you and grabbing you, just like, like that feeling is priceless. You get what I'm saying? Because he probably had to go through whatever bullshit he went through all week, his job, his boss, his girl, his this, whatever it is, but he felt a good time at this party and he enjoyed himself. And it's like, I'm able to add to that. It's like, that's dope.
And you're able to forget about all that other shit and let loose. That's such a dope. You're providing a space for people to escape,
That's it. That, to me, that's the best part of it. Obviously, fast forward to today, being able to create an income out of it, being able to, create a lifestyle and being able to create a financial stability out of music and, fashion and things like that. Obviously, that's dope. We all want to be able to do that in whatever field we're in. But, that's always going to be the byproduct. If you just do something well, you feel me? If you actually take your time to make sure things are good, that's always going to come. Like, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think you've learned the most about yourself and entrepreneurship through Tribe Vibes?
I've learned, in business in general, I've learned that you got to take care of the team first. Okay. Or you got to take care of those who are, you get what I'm saying? Because that's what's actually moving these things, your staff. Whether it's my front door girl, the security, the bottle girls, the homies who are around supporting you, they're rolling out with you, this and that. Like, that's what's moving the situation and keeping those wheels turned. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could think of parties and I could think of ideas and all that kind of stuff, but without the team, that execution is dead.
Yeah.
Especially when I travel and things like that. If I travel out of town and my parties are still going on, this and that, I'm relying on the team, 1,000%, because I'm not even there. So as an entrepreneur, that's really been like the thing I've learned the most, and even learned about myself, making sure that I'm able to, be there for the staff. You know what I'm saying? Be there for the team, be there for those who are around me. Like, I had to kind of really make sure I understood that. And, it took a little bit of time, because when you start making money as a party promoter, as a DJ, you're thinking, oh, this is all my money, I'm making money, this and that. But the reality is, just as much as you're making, you need to make sure you're dishing out. You get what I'm saying? You need to make sure everybody's eating. I'm talking about even tipping. Like, I try to make sure I tip, even down to the bus boys and things like that.
Oh, wow.
At the end of the night, I'll ball up a bunch of 20s. I told my front door girl, like, yo, put together 320s. Because I'm going to give 15 people.
Bless the team.
All 20s a piece. Like, you know what I mean? Why? Because they're working hard. You feel me? At the end of the day, they're busting all these tables. Everyone's popping bottles. They're the ones cleaning it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so they're only getting paid. I don't know how much minimum wages or whatever they like. I don't know, but I'm just saying, yo, an extra $20 tip from me at the end of the night, you know, that's my way of saying thank you.
And it means a lot to them too. Yeah, they're gonna remember that, and they're gonna want to work that much harder for you too, probably.
I mean, even if they do or they don't, like, that's on them. You know what I'm saying? When I give stuff out, when I do stuff to people, I don't even think about what I'm going to do.
You don't expect
I don't.
nothing.
Well, because, like, I got enough on my own.
Yeah.
So it's like, I always tell people, like, don't worry about what the next person is doing. If you just worry about your pockets, even if they don't pay you, or if they don't, praise you, or they don't, show some kind of blah, 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 like, all right, cool. I'm chilling on my own. Like, what you're doing is not going to hurt me. Like, you feel me?
100%.
So,
Man, so speaking on the entrepreneurship piece of it, you also have Tea Gallery, which is the fashion store, right?
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't want to say it's the first, Nigerian-American boutique out here in downtown LA or in Los Angeles, but I don't really know any other ones.
Name another one.
If there is, no disrespect to anybody, but if there is, let's do some work. But if not, Tea Gallery, 825 South Los Angeles Street. We opened it up about 3 weeks ago now, about almost a month. I've had the space for a while, just trying to figure out how to put it together, but it's finally open.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you. These pants, Tea Gallery. This jacket, Tea Gallery. This hat, Tea Gallery.
Fire.
This chain right here, Tea Gallery.
Ooh, we got the accessories too.
Yeah, we got accessories, we got everything, so it's a combination of Tea Gallery standing for Tribe Gallery. It's a Tribe brand, but it's basically a gallery because we're mixing a lot of art with it. And we are also mixing other brands. So we have Fresh I Am, which is one of the, in-house brands. Fresh I Am, shout out to Tunde. I said Fresh I Am is a brand out of ATL originally. Been around for about, I want to say about 10 years or so. My boy Tunde moved out here to LA and he was just getting busy, and then we kind of clicked up, we linked up, I saw what he was doing, he saw what I was doing, and we were able to come together and start a partnership. So, I'm glad and I'm proud to be able to say I'm a part owner of Fresh I Am, as he is a part owner of Tribe, and we just do this together, we make this thing happen. And, he's a crazy fashion head, designer, like, Virgil Abloh status.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's just...
I got to check him out.
Yeah, he's a crazy designer, crazy fashion head, and I'm a businessman, I'm a finance guy, I'm a et cetera, et cetera. So it's like we can get things moving. And me, I like to dress,
Yeah.
So,
Did you find it like a way of expressing yourself?
Yeah, definitely a way of expressing myself, but also it's like as a young person, like my dad always made me dress. Like the night before, we'll have to iron our clothes to go to school.
Oh, okay, so
it was always like, be put together, not necessarily saying you got to have the freshest name brand and this and that, but it's just be put together,
presentable,
tucking your shirt, you know what I mean? Like that's what time he was on.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad was on that time. Tucking your shirt, look presentable, look good, that kind of thing. Comb your hair, all that kind of stuff.
That just manifests itself in a different way today, right?
Exactly.
How you put together your fits.
Yeah. Now it's just like you just always want to be clean in whatever you're doing. Make sure you're clean. Make sure it looks good. Make sure you represent yourself, because when people see you, they're going to see that first before before they talk to you, before anything. They're going to see, how is this person showing up? How do they look?
That's their first impression of you, right?
Exactly. And vice versa. The first impression on people is like, I look and okay, what is he wearing? What is she wearing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's legit been girls that I haven't hollered at because they don't know how to dress. I'm not going to front, because the reality is if I'm taking a girl out to dinner, we going, to Catch or one of these nice places, grab some soup. Like, if I'm looking fresh and she's looking like, whoa.
Bro, this is so funny. I had the same conversation with my boy John Ojo, owns the brand Little Africa.
That's my guy.
Oh, really? Yeah. We had this same talk about him like taking a very high attention to the way he dresses, and like we had a whole segment about like...
Shout out Little Africa for sure. You gonna be in Tea Gallery. I'm gonna hit you up this week.
Hey, make it happen. Speaking on that, you seem like a very collaborative person. Like the common theme I've noticed throughout this conversation is in your story, you're so open to collaborating with other people. Is that something that really
because
to you?
Russell Simmons said something early on. He said, I'm not the smartest person, but I surround myself with the smartest. I hire the smartest. For me, it's like, I'm not the best designer. I'm not the best DJ. I'm not the best businessman. I'll easily say I'm not the best at anything, but I am the best in getting things done.
Okay.
So if that means I need to get this person, if we need to collaborate, if we need to, whatever it is we need to do, the end goal is what we're looking for. What is my dad always says, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Because you will see it. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't need to be the greatest or this or that, but if I can collaborate with those who are great, I know I'm bringing something great to the table. If they're bringing something great to the table and they, really are about what they say they're about, then we're going to make something happen. And
yeah,
for sure.
That's good. That's good that you have that, because, somebody with as much confidence as you, you know what I mean, that you have, sometimes I feel like people can let it, get to their head and they think that they're the best at everything and anything.
That's
but
crazy.
You have a certain level, what it seems of like discipline, of like knowing how to have that confidence in yourself, but not letting it get your ego inflated, right?
I'm not even a lot of my parties, like people were like, oh, you're not closing out DJing, you're not. I'm just like, I don't need to prove that I'm the best DJ or I'm the best,
And it's not about you.
It's not like, that's irrelevant. If the homie's in town or if this person's here, let them close out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna hurt me to let them close out. You know what I mean? So it's just about the way you look at life. Like, there's so many people, first of all, and there's so much to do, and there's so many things, there's so many ideas. Like, how could you say yours is the best? It's impossible.
Yeah, that's true. And it's subjective too.
You feel me? It's like people be like, oh, I got the baddest chick. How? That your chick, okay, she looks good, but she's the baddest to you.
Do you realize how many countries there are in this
you feel me?
world?
To me, she's I. You feel me? Like, so it's like there is no such as best. Like, you just gotta do what you do, and hopefully you're doing something right.
Absolutely. How do you manage to wear so many hats? Like, how do you find the balance in giving them all enough attention for them to, like, I don't know, prosper, and then also how do you first let's start off there.
Piece by piece. If you notice, like, I don't, like, everything that I've done, it's not just all at once. So the boutique didn't come when the party started. The parties didn't come when I literally started DJing, then the parties came, then the brand came, then the boutique came, before the boutique, then the events came, like having my own, Saturday night, then the brand, then the boutique came. So it's piece by piece, like the saying of how do you devour a whale? Piece by piece. You can't just eat the whole whale at once. You got to So it's just chopping, you know what I mean? Right now I have the boutique out. I'm focused on the boutique, making sure we have the right brands in there, the right activations and things like that. But in a couple months from now, I'm headed back to Nigeria and I'm going to be focused solely back on music, as far as production, working with artists and things like that. So I know I have between now and the top of December to hash out everything I need to hash out for the boutique. So the wheels are turning, it's moving smoothly. We have events lined up, we have artists, we have brands and all that kind of stuff. So then when I do focus on, back on the music full on, I don't have to worry so much about the boutique.
I see,
So you just got to kind of break it up. Like, you can't do everything, every day I don't wake up trying to do all of it. No, I wake up today, all right, cool, I'm gonna focus on X, Y, and Z.
What's in front of you?
Yeah, focus on this. If I know I have some events coming up, cool, we'll take a day, let's focus on the events, let's get the marketing materials put together, let's, execute this and that. All right, then we back to the boutique. Whatever it is, like, you just gotta piece it up.
And time management sounds like it's a big aspect of it too.
Yeah, I'm
right?
trying to work better on that, because me, like, I'm not fronting, like, I'm an eye and I'll wake up late.
Well,
so,
you're a free spirit, right?
Yeah,
so you do what you want when
I'm
you want
trying
to.
I'm trying to time management. I'm trying to be better at that. Like, even today, like, my timing was horrible. You know what I mean? Like, I was with my girl this morning and she just kept me in the house and in bed till like late.
It'd be like that, man. I got my girl the same thing with me.
So, by the time I got out, I only had time to go get a haircut and come straight here, So there was so much other stuff I wanted to do beforehand, but I didn't get a chance to do. So yeah, time management, like, I know things like that though, but I'm not too hard on myself because you have to experience those things in life. It's part of an experience.
That's the teacher.
Laying up with your girl in bed all morning, that's an experience that you're not always going to have. So you have to, enjoy those experiences. You have to, those kind of things.
I believe that, man. I do believe that. With the time management thing, that kind of like reminds me of something that Elon Musk has said. And people have different opinions on Elon Musk, and that's fine. But like, one of the things that he said that resonated with me is just that, if you give yourself a month to get a task done, it'll take you a month. If you give yourself a week to get it done, it'll take you a week. You give yourself a day to get it done, it'll take you a day, and so on, right? So that just goes to show you, like, the internal time clock you put on yourself to get something done is how long it's going to take you to get done.
There's proof of that from this week, actually.
Really?
I've had so many parking tickets just stacked up. Like,
for real?
I'm the worst with parking
tickets. Man, LA's like that, though.
The worst. So they've just been piling up. So this week I went to my mail, I saw another one. I was like, damn, I need to just collect all the ones that I saw from before, put them all together. It was probably like 20 pieces of mail.
Oh, damn.
Tickets. A lot. Yeah.
That's a lot of bread.
You're talking about Thank you. You're talking about for the past couple, like this is since last year type stuff. So I hit my assistant. I was like, yo, I'm going to send over this stack, put them all together in an Excel sheet, put out the total, call these people, let's know what we need to pay, blah, blah, blah. Within 2 hours, bam, she got everything done. We paid it off and it was done. Because I decided I need to take care of this today. But all those other times, I used to kept saying, oh, I'll get to it, or I'll take care of it tomorrow, I'll get it next week. Yeah. So like you said, when you decide that you have X amount of time to do it, it gets done. But when you say, I'm doing it tomorrow, or I'm going to do it next week, or I'm going to do it when the other one comes in because I just got one, so then you don't get it done.
That's a good point.
You feel me? So, but the moment I said this week, yo, I'm getting this thing done today, and I put them all today, I hit up the assistant, and it happened. You feel me?
That's crazy.
You know,
I think that translates and manifests itself in a different way too with people and their goals, right? Like people talk about wanting to do something or like wanting to get something done or achieve a certain status or whatever it is. Like everyone has their goals if you're watching this, right? And you will say all you want to do something, but it really doesn't happen until you decide that you actually want to do it, right?
So you pull the trigger. You have to pull the trigger. If you don't pull the trigger, it's dead. Don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
And I'm working on that. It's a struggle for everybody, you know, because we have ideas of, you know, even the gym. I finally got back in the gym this week.
Okay,
you know what
dope.
I mean? I was like, I'm pulling the trigger on the gym. I got a membership at the Los Angeles Athletic Club.
That looks like a fire gym. I walk by it every day and I'm like, it looks nice in there.
It's prime.
You can't even look in there actually.
Right, yeah, you can't really, that's what I'm saying, but it's prime. I went there a couple years ago with a friend who had a membership, and it's like they got basketball courts, tennis courts, swimming pool, saunas, all type of class. Like it's
kind of like a fitness version of the Soho House almost, right? Is that what it is? Okay.
So I've been telling myself since January of this year that I was getting back in the gym, and I just got back in this week.
Okay.
Can you believe that?
That's crazy, yeah.
Because I actually put that deadline, like I have to do it now. And I woke up that day, I drove myself in there, and got it done. So, you know, it's a constant battle, constant struggle with all of us. Like we have a lot of things that we know we need to do, but we're not putting an expiration date on it. So it's just always going to linger.
Yeah, it's hard because those priorities are shifting. You have so much shit going on.
Exactly. And that's another thing, like you said, priorities. Like I'm not waking up trying to be, you feel me? Like, cause that's irrelevant. But, you know, at the same time, I know I have to be, you know, you want to be healthy. You want to be, you know what I mean? Like, you want to be sexy, like, you know what I mean? This and that. So it's like, you gotta make sure you create time for everything.
You gotta make it important for you. My bro, Joe K, one time, shout out to him. He said, we either make it a priority or we make it an excuse, right? And that resonated a lot with me. And I mean, we all do. I got so many things that are versions of what you said that like I'm supposed to get done and like push it off, and like we all learn it, man.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the greatest thing about it. The fact that you know, that's it. You know, I think the first step is being aware. You know, I always tell people you got to be truthful with yourself first. If you're not truthful with yourself, then you're going to lose in life. You got to know when you're good at something, when you're not good at something. You got to know when your time is up, when your time's not up. When, you know, whatever it is, and I don't say that to discourage people, but, you know, I use an example, like some cats with me, I'm like, yo, listen to my music, this and that, and I'll listen to it, and it could be all right. It's not even that it's bad, but the dude is 35, he's 36, he's 37. And I tell him, I'd be like, realistically, do you as a consumer want to go listen to a brand new artist who's 35, 36, 37, trying to talk about things that he may or may not even be involved in anymore? If the answer is no, then what makes you think that consumers are going to want to listen to you? And that just comes down to breaking down truthful with yourself. And again, I won't say that to deter anybody from ever going after your dreams, because it can still happen. We've seen 2 Chainz, or we've seen so many other people do it, but there's something called possible and probable. It's possible that this thing can happen, yes, because it's possible that anything can happen. But is it probable that it will happen?
Yeah.
More than likely not. So as an adult, are you going to say, I'm going to spend all my time, energy, and resources on something that's not as probable? Realistically, when you really stack up what is against you, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, that's not to deter anybody, but it's just a way to kind of cut your losses early or make sure you don't have as much losses.
Because, you can shift your energy towards something else that might be a blessing for you. Like, look at Virgil Abloh, right? Like, he had Pyrex, and, like, completely shit. I think he had a few brands before he got to.
Oh, he's been working.
Off-White.
He was Kanye's stylist since the jump, creative director, stylist, this and that. So before he even had a brand, he was already doing something else, which was being basically a worker bee for an artist.
Yeah, but he has so many other brands. Not so many, but he had other brands that he watched.
Exactly.
Because he
from Bentrill to Pyrex Vision. Yeah, exactly. You know, those were all different things, and then you can switch your idea into something else. So you know, there's. Again, you just have to be truthful with yourself.
It's hard to do.
I mean,
be honest with yourself.
Even myself, I wanted to be the artist. I wanted to be the rapper. I got songs out there. They're not on Spotify.
Archives?
In the archives of me like going to the studio on trying to be an artist.
Oh wow.
Then after a while, it wasn't even, you know, growing up or anything. After a while, I just kind of realized, yo, these other rappers and artists that are around me are better. I could be truthful and I could say that.
Yeah.
They're making better music than me. Their voice sounds better than mine. That's just the reality of it. So let me stop wasting my money, time, and energy on that. And let me start working with the artists, whether that's events, whether that's merch, whether that's production. I can work in other areas. I don't have to be the artist. You know what I mean? So again, it comes down with being truthful with yourself. Knowing what you can and cannot do, knowing what is actually possible. Like, am I really going to make it like this? Am I really going to be better than Drake? If the answer is no, then okay, then why am I trying to go in this path? Like, you feel me? Now, can I create a brand that's bigger than Drake? Possibly. Even probably.
Probably, yeah.
Both of those are very, very likely. We see it every day. Can I create, you know, whatever it is in my city or in my culture that's going to be just as impactful as Drake? Probably. All right, so let me put my energy and time and efforts into that thing.
That is so important, man, because you can like not waste your life, but you can dedicate a large part of your life to trying to do something that's never going to work out because you're not being honest with yourself. Like I see that happen in so many different areas. I used to play football, and I have so many former teammates that are in their 30s playing in some like random league, still trying to make it to the NFL. And it's just like, I respect and admire the hustle and drive, and all that stuff. But also it's like you said, like you're probably not going to make it anymore.
So like how long are you going to chase that dream before you actually now start getting on your real dream that you should be chasing?
And you're 10 years late. You know what I mean? And
you know
like,
what I'm saying?
there's...
that goes down all the time with, you know, friends and family. I see them, they're chasing things, and it's just like, I get it. That's dope. Chase it. But you got to know when, it's time to wrap it up and do something else or try something else or, you know, whatever it is. And again, that's not to discourage anybody, because if you really feel conflicted in your heart that this is what you got to do and you're going to do it and you're going to make it, hey, by all means do it. Prove me wrong. Prove whoever you're around wrong. But at the same time, if 10 years go by and you didn't prove anybody wrong, you only have yourself to blame.
100%. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and you got to take a real look in the mirror, take self-evaluation. It's hard to step out of it and look at yourself.
Well, that's the thing. Most people lie to themselves every day. Every day. You lie to yourself. I mean, come on. Even the nature of hip hop and music like that, people will be like, oh, I'm a mauler, I'm a millionaire, I got a Ferrari, I got this, I got that. It's the whole mentality of make it till you fake it till you make it. Yeah. You know, and it's like, nah, you know you don't got that. You know you don't live like that. You know you're not about that. It's a facade, and it's just like, why do you got to create that facade? I'm not saying like don't elaborate a little bit for the music purposes and make sure it sounds good, but if your whole entity and your whole artistic vision is off a facade, then it's like you got to be real with yourself, boo. Like, you know, ladies, same thing. Be real with yourself. Like, if you just want a dude to take you out just to, you know, get a free meal, be real with yourself. Like, yo, I'm only dating right now to get a free meal and some dick. If that's what it is, that's fine. No one is, you know what I'm saying? I think it becomes a gray area, or it becomes a tricky situation when guys or girls try to, you know, tell their spouse or tell the other person that, hey, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, but in all reality, you're actually looking for something else. Yeah. But until you be truthful with yourself and tell yourself what it is that you're really looking for, then you can never, you know.
No, it's true. Yeah, you get also like, you know, when you have those ulterior motives, you get treated, and the quote unquote universe, whatever you want to call it, God will give you that energy that you're giving back. And that's why like a lot of girls like can't find a good man, this and that, but like they're doing things like you just said.
You feel me?
You know what I mean?
You're saying you can't find a good man, but you're in the wrong situation. You're in the wrong places. You're going on dates with the dude who's just popping bottles at the club. You've seen him pop bottles at the club 5 times, and he took you on.
What do you expect?
You feel me? And you say, oh, all he wanted to do was smash. Well, I mean, I don't understand. What did you think? He wanted to take you to his mom's house to eat dinner? Like, I mean, What do you expect? And also, guys, the same thing. Like you talk,
guys the same way.
Guys, same way. Like you talking to a girl, let her know, like, yo, I'm not looking for time. I'm just trying to smash, or I'm just trying to, have a girl on the side that we can go on dates here, whatever it is. Don't let them know, like, oh, I'm trying to be in a relationship and get married and this and that, and then later on something else happens, and then you're wondering why did she slap you or this happened. You know what I mean? Like, because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta just be truthful. Like, yo, baby, this is what I'm trying to do.
Let your intentions be known.
You feel me? Like, if you're with it, you're with it. If you're not, then I get it. Power to you, baby.
You save a lot of energy and hurt that way too. And shout out to all the good girls though, and all the queens out there that are, you know what I mean, doing it the right way. And there's a lot of them out there too. Shouts out to them. Shout out to you.
For sure.
So speaking on the wearing the multiple hats piece, my next question was gonna be, how do you not burn out? How do you avoid burnout?
You have to love it.
You have to love it.
Only people who burn out is the people who don't love it. Like, I can't imagine burning out, because it's like when I wake up, I'm thinking about these things because I enjoy these things. So there's no way I could say I burn out. Plus, also, I don't take things too seriously. Like, I'm not, the business I do and the things I do is not like it's a stuffy corporate environment. You know what I mean? Like, people who work for me, like, we're at the office chilling, smoking weed. Like, you feel me? Like, it's not, you can't burn out like that because it's a very relaxed environment. It's like, yo, let's get things done. Let's see the product of all this work that we're doing. You know what I mean? That's the goal. It's not about we got to be on it. You got to be this. Like, nah, all that super hard, like hustle hard to your, all that. That's whack. That's corny. Like, no, hustle smart. It's not about hustling hard. It's about hustling smart. What's the objective? What are we trying to get out of this thing? And then now we reverse engineer that and look at the steps and what we have to do and things like that.
Okay, I love that. I love that explanation.
So people who get burnt out are people who are doing jobs they don't like, or they put too much expectations on themselves. They're taking themselves too serious, or taking the situation too serious. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you got to lighten up a little bit and have some fun with it, right?
Bro, nothing is real.
What Drake said, the moment I stop having fun with it, I'll be done with it.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, if I didn't enjoy any of the things that I was doing, I wouldn't be doing them. There's just no way.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. I mean, every once in a while, like, I wouldn't go to the club or one night or this or that just because maybe I'm tired of the club, or maybe I'm, whatever it is, I want to just chill out and do something. And that's cool. I could take a couple nights out, a month off, whatever it is I want. But I still enjoy the actual making of it, because I'm still the guy on the back end making sure that the flyers are right. I'm still the guy on the back end making sure the ticket links, the whole production on the back end. I loved putting it together. I may not show up to the club tonight, but everything else I love putting
taken care of.
Yeah.
I feel you, man. So you mentioned earlier, all these things that have cultivated themselves into what you got going on today, whether it's the music, whether it's the entrepreneurship, whether it's the parties and events, they've all kind of happened piece by piece. So what's next for you? You got anything else in the works coming up, or
just new music? Dropping more music. I'll say from now until this time next year, for the next year, dropping new music, expanding the boutique in the sense of, like I said, bringing more artists in, bringing more brands in, doing more activations, more pop-ups, all that kind of stuff. Just, really growing the boutique. So a year from now, we can say, hey, we've been in business for a year, and this is what we've done. We can, showcase what we've done. And dropping more music, you know what I mean? That's really, I really want to drop a lot more music, really get in my executive bag. And of course, still DJing, still throwing parties, all that kind of stuff. Like, that's like saying breathing air, drinking water. Like, it's
like routine for you.
Routine, plus it's just who I am. I'm always going to take gigs. I'm always going to throw parties. Like, it's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then obviously in the long run, owning my own club. You know what I mean?
Ooh, you got aspirations for that too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's the natural progression. From a DJ to a promoter of a night, or a event promoter, to then owning the space that's, because even like my boutique is kind of a space. Like, we throw like small events there. I'm about to start up I'm a piano night there.
Oh, fire.
Yeah, so,
I'm a piano's blowing up like crazy now too.
Exactly, yeah. So, it's like the next progression is definitely having my own spaces to do these things. Like,
okay, fire, man. Well, like, I think it's all gonna happen. I can't wait to see it happen. I'm gonna be looking in, checking in, and tapping in with you on all of that. You got any last words? And where can people follow you too if they want to continue to follow your journey?
Everything is Tomi Tribe, Tomi Tribe, Tribe. You can find me on IG. YouTube Music is there, Spotify, Apple Music, all of that. It's all Tomi Tribe. As far as the gallery, it's just T Gallery LA, all one word. T Gallery LA. You can find out the drops. You shop the collection. You can pull up and make an appointment, you know, at the shop. And also, like, if you, it's a culture and community space. So if you feel like, hey, even yourself, yo, I want to do a pop-up here for whatever collection you're releasing or whatever it is, whether it's a sip and paint, whether it's an art collection, whether it's a clothing collection, whether it's a music release, a movie release, whatever. We got projectors, we have TVs, we have everything to be able to facilitate, you know, what it is people want to do there and things like that. So again, it's a community space. It's a boutique, it's a gallery, but it's a place where everyone can come and, you know, do things. Like, you know, I'm not just trying to keep it, you know, to me. Like, no, the whole premise of it was to have a space. Well, really, it started because I had too much, like, boxes and clothes in my house. Real talk, my house was looking crazy. I just had so much stuff, like, and we had just gotten these jackets, and like it was 8 big ass boxes were coming from China.
Those are heavy.
Yeah, heavy. Like, we're talking about like huge boxes, 8 of them coming in. And I was like, damn, where am I going to put all this stuff? Like, you know, my partner Tunde's crib, his apartment was already packed up with all our other stuff, Fresh I Am and everything else. So I was like, man, I need to get a storage. I was looking at storage prices. And I was like, man, with this price, I might as well just get like a warehouse or something downtown. And then, you know, I found this spot. It was a warehouse / you know, storefront, boutique, this and that. I was like, perfect. We can keep this as a warehouse, keep it as an office, but also we can use the front of it as, you know, build it out. So what we did, we just went in, we partitioned the stuff. We built a couple walls and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it looks dope. Like, it's definitely the dopest new spot in LA. I don't care what nobody says. Like, this shit is vibes.
See it for yourself, right?
Vibes. Pull up, T Gallery, Los Angeles, 825 South Los Angeles Street. We're open by appointment only, or we're open, you know, during when we have pop-ups and stuff. But literally, just follow me on my page. You see what's going on.
Absolutely, I'm gonna have to come check it out for myself
for
in
sure.
the near future. For sure. One other thing, you have this mantra, you know, it's in your bio on your IG of spread love. Yeah. What does that mean to you?
That's it. If everything you do is the intention of spreading love, then you can never go wrong. So, like, even when, you know, you may get in little tussles with people, or, you know, whatever it may be, an argument, a misunderstanding, if the objective is to love and spread love, then you can never be wrong. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, let's use an example. Like, you get in an argument with somebody at the club, you know, somebody saying, oh, this or that or blah, blah, blah. Me, I'll usually just kind of stop the argument and be like, all right, just give this guy extra champagne. Spread some love.
Spread some love, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, and if he's still complaining after that, then there's nothing I can do. I could just walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to always come from a place of love. You know what I mean? I'm always going to come from a place of like, yo, let's de-escalate this situation. Let's make sure we're smooth, it's good. You know, if I'm creating a product, if I'm creating a boutique, spread love with the boutique. So let me not only sell my products, let me sell other designers that are dope.
And let me allow it to be a space where other people can come do their thing, right?
Spread. I've been blessed to be able to put together a boutique. So let me spread this love to whoever's around, whoever wants to receive it.
Okay, so that's just how you live your life.
Yeah, just spread love. You know, I mean, it's a very simple thing. Like, just come from a place of love and never hate, never jealousy, never this, never that. Like, you know, obviously it takes time. Obviously, I've gotten into my scuffles with people in our community or things like that in a sense. But at the end of the day, it's always love, because when I see them, it's love. I still mess with them. I still rock with them. I still, you know, whatever it is always going to be love, because I mean, my life is too good and blessed. Like, I can't even operate from any other place. Like,
that's a great place you're in there. Yeah, well, we'll end on that. Spread love. I appreciate you spreading love on this podcast and, you know, dropping so many gems, sharing the codes with everybody. We're going to be tapped in with you, bro.
Tap in. Listen to the music. Like I said, Tomi Tribe everywhere. Go run it up. We got music out. Me and Jada Blue got something crazy out right now called I Got It. The videos on YouTube is very, very beautiful. Ladies, tap into that one. You will love it. Nigeria is also out. Shout out Toye. Crazy anthem for Nigeria. Remix coming very soon with a very special guest.
Okay.
And, you know, just tap in, man. We here.
Absolutely. We'll leave those links in the description as well for you to check out. Tomi Tribe, not to be confused with Tomi Tribe. We appreciate
we
appreciate you coming through from Creative Ambiance. This is Levi and Tomi Tribe checking out. We'll see you next time.
Bless up.
Yes, sir.
Cult Army, Tito, we in the building.
Let's go. Peace.